explains how the Malawi government can improve economic conditions in that country.
I think the first thing that should happen in Malawi is more the political will to implement policies. The second thing will be more around merit-based appointment in terms of government position. And the third point will be about borrowing for productive side of the economy, but also in terms of investment in infrastructure such as roads, ICT, railway infrastructure, energy and water infrastructure. The fourth part will be about diversifying the GDP composition of the Malawi economy. It's heavily reliant on agriculture, which is unsustainable.
China's state oil and gas major Sinopec Group says it signed a contract to explore the Gurn Al-Gesa 2 natural gas block in Algeria that potentially holds a large shale gas resource. The contract was signed earlier this week between Sinopec and the state-run Algerian oil and gas company Sonatrach. This contract follows an earlier $850 million deal in February in which the two companies agreed to jointly explore and develop the Hassi Berkane North field. Moving further afield, India and Britain have signed a major trade deal that they say will lead to a multi-billion-dollar boost in exports for the two countries. The deal agreed in May will see India lower tariffs on British whiskey, gin and other drinks as well as cars. The BBC's Yogita Lamaya has the details.
We've heard Prime Minister Narendra Modi calling it a historical milestone, saying it's a really ambitious deal and that this is really, as they're calling it, it's a comprehensive economic and trade agreement with the UK. What the Indian government is very keen to say to people here is that this is a deal that's going to benefit farmers and it's going to benefit medium and small scale manufacturers, in particular textile manufacturers who will be able to have zero duty exports to the UK, footwear manufacturers, gems and jewelry, frozen seafood.
And now for a look at the indicators, $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,528 naira. In Botswana, it's 13 pula 38. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 43.44. In India, it's 86 rupees 37. China, 7 yuan 17. And South Africa, $1 is trading at 17 rand 54 cents this afternoon. $1 is trading at 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,362 per ounce and platinum at $1,418 per ounce, while Brent crude oil is at $69.18 a barrel. And those are your business news. I'll be back with more in the next hour. For any business news stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I am Bontle Hetbush.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Vue d'Afrique avec Joël Mouteba.
Cette peur d'un point de non-retour nucléaire suffit-elle selon vous à légitimer une telle offensive, Monsieur Talazi?
Absolument pas du tout. Cela fait plus de 30 ans que l'Israël crie haut et fort sur les toits, où il veut se faire entendre que l'Iran serait à 1 an pour obtenir l'arme nucléaire. Parfois, l'Iran serait à 6 mois, parfois à 2 semaines pour obtenir son arme nucléaire. Et curieusement, jusqu'à ce jour, il n'y a toujours aucune preuve que l'Iran a obtenu cette arme nucléaire, depuis les déclarations d'Israël et de certaines puissances parfois.
Vue d'Afrique, du lundi au vendredi de 15h à 16h, temps universel.
Nkhanza zokhudza amuna ndi azimayi kapena kuti gender-based violence GBV zikuwononga mioyo komanso kuphwasula midzi. Zikuchitika m'manyumba, m'masukulu, malo ogwirira ntchito ndipo kwambiri mwakachetechete. Koma sizikuyenera kupitirira. Mukazimva yankhulani. Ngati mwakhuzidwa funani chithandizo, chifukwa kusachita chilichonse sikuthandiza. Kuma wireless onse 14 a SABC kuchokera lachitatu pa 23 mwezi uno wa Julai kuti mumve zokambirana, malangizo, masewero, zionetsero za maphunziro ndi mafunso okhuza nkhanza za amuna ndi azimayi ndi akatswiri anthu opulumuka ku nkhanzazi kukhazikitsa lamulo komanso dziko lonse lokhuzidwa ndi nkhanzazi zonsezi pa wailesi yomwe mumayikonda ya SABC. Imbirani pa nambala 0800 428 428 kuti munene za nkhanzazi kapena kupeza chithandizo. Nkhanza zokhuza amuna ndi azimayi zimatha ndi inu. Uthenga ukufikani kuchokera ku SABC.
The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
Well, it's 2:45 p.m. in Central African Time. Thank you so much for staying with us. We are excited to bring you lifestyle programming until 4 p.m. in Central African Time. This is going to be, in this quarter hour, it's going to be all about celebration, okay? Because one of our favorites, who's now a friend of the show, award-winning journalist, and you may remember if you've been following just some of the work on the show, he was in studio with us and we're talking about him documenting the life of Mbongeni Ngema, who is one of Africa's greatest, a genius, an icon when it comes to theatre and music, the late great Mbongeni Ngema. And this particular wonderful journalist, award-winning journalist, has made sure that he dedicates a lot of time and energy and research to putting together a documentary that celebrates the life of Mbongeni Ngema. Lindani Mbenza joins us on the line as we celebrate something really huge, okay? We were talking about it. I mean, I just love the energy on this show because we clearly are powerful manifestors. Okay. Can we take like a little piece of that glory and say, listen, we manifested and we poured some good energy into him winning, because I think between Tebogo and I, we just knew that he's deserving.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back onto the Upside, award-winning film director, taking home the best documentary for Dr. Mbongeni Ngema. This is my story at the Simon Mabunu Sabela KZN Film and TV Awards. Please welcome Lindani Mbenza.
Oh my goodness,
Hi,
Linda.
guys.
Hi, how are you? Okay, how are you feeling? Let me compose myself. How are you feeling?
Oh wow, I'm ecstatic. I'm overwhelmed. And just to clear things, please address me as award-winning.
I did. That's the first thing that I said. I said award-winning journalist, and journalist.
I'm just making sure.
Is an umbrella term for all the wonderful work that you've done in journalism, in your writing, in your research, in your filmmaking. So listen, you are award-winning, and you and I were talking in the wee hours of the morning when I was, doing the morning thing on our sister station. And I just went on your Instagram and I noticed how you were sharing your joy with other ordinary people, that deserve to also hear the story. You were at a petrol station, I think, earlier in the a day or two ago, and you had the petrol attendants actually hold the trophy because they were just so fascinated after seeing it in your car. How does it feel to, not only to hold this trophy for yourself, but to also share it with people that acknowledge your work at this level?
I think it's very important. So the what you saw on Instagram, the trophy was sitting in the back seat of the car while the guy was pouring the petrol, and I went into the shop. When I came back, they were all gathered around the window, and I thought, why not let them get a touch and feel, because they had been watching the awards online the evening before, and just to even they were having their own practice sessions, because you never know what actually inspires the next best person.
Right.
Lindani, you were telling the story of the great Dr. Mbongeni Ngema. What would he say to you right now after winning that award?
Yeah, I think he would be just as overwhelmed as me that his story's out there. He has told his story. I think we are born, we do things in life, and I think your circle is complete when also, as a story writer, a story is told about you. So I think it'd also be aesthetic, and as I did mention, Simon Mabunu was a very dear friend to him, which the awards are named after. Last year at the awards, Dr. Mboni Ngema was honored, unfortunately, after he had passed away. And the following year, which is 2025, it's him and his documentary getting that award.
Right. Okay, so, we were talking to you in studio about the documentary being out, and you gave us you were just generous with information about putting it together, the challenges, the triumphs, and all of that. So now we've won the award, okay? We've won the award. What's next?
So I think, one needs to spend the next week or two just really strategizing, because it's really going to be important the way forward from now. I am also in communication with the family, with maybe some of their expectations. But I think the next big thing is that we need to think and look big. As I did say, in the pipelines for me is first of all a premiere at the Playhouse in Durban, and also just looking at prospects of possibly taking it overseas to New York. There seems to be a bit of interest already sparking. Even on the table that I was actually sitting on at the awards ceremony, there was Angus Gibson. The gentleman from IPOM, he, even after I won, came over to me, shook my hand and said, how some of the work that he did, and just shared about some of the moments that he shared with Dr. Mbongeni Ngema. So really, I think that kind of platform really does lift and change the game a lot, because the acknowledgement becomes way different. It's now an award-winning documentary, which has not even gone on public platforms yet.
Lindani, how heavy is that trophy?
It's very heavy. It's very heavy. It's the kind of weights I don't mind carrying.
100%. I mean, if you're going to tell the story of just an icon like Mbongeni Ngema, I mean, actually, we need to find I love that song. I think and also it just represents this moment so perfectly. So we're going to find that song by Mbongeni Ngema, Vuma Dlozi, and we're going to play it on the show. Congratulations once again, our good friend. We are all kinds of proud of you. And I feel like, you know what it feels like? I think also just because of the importance of the story and the iconography behind Ubaba Mbongeni Ngema's storytelling, it just feels like it's our award too, Like I feel like you've won it for the collective of African people who were represented through the storytelling of Mbongeni Ngema. So thank you so much. No one deserves this more. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The voice there of award-winning journalist, filmmaker Lindani Mbense of bagging the Best Documentary Award at the Simon Mabunu Sabela KZN Film and TV Awards for his documentary, Dr. Mbongeni Ngema, This Is My Story. It's 7 minutes before 3 p.m. Central African Time. On the other side, we find out what caught your eye.
Mix Vibration sur Channel Africa.
C'est notre invitée du jour, la belle Aïna Mwenze. Elle est là. Certaines l'appellent Boss Lady.
Bonjour Monsieur Jolino.
Parlez-nous un tout petit peu de vous.
Je m'appelle Boss Lady Aïna. Je mets l'accent sur le nom de Boss Lady parce que je mérite cela après le travail fait. Et c'est une rémunération en titre de la personne que je suis devenue aujourd'hui. Épouse et une mère de 4 garçons. Et voilà ce que je peux dire pour l'instant.
Et vous vous êtes lancé dans le business. Comment c'est venu?
En tant que mère et se retrouvant dans les pays étrangers, particulièrement en Afrique du Sud, je me disais que laisser les enfants sur la charge des travailleurs ou d'une bonne, ça serait pas très intéressant. Je me dis, je dois essayer de m'organiser et trouver un emploi que je peux faire.
Mix Vibration, tous les dimanches de 18h à 19h, temps universel.
The Upside with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito, bringing Africa's voices to the world. On Channel Africa, the African perspective.
6 minutes before 3 p.m. Central. Mmatsheko, I'm sorry. I distracted you there. Can we try again? I'm sorry. Sorry. 3, 2, 1. I am so sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for What Caught Your Eye?
Yes! Let's do it. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm sorry to be morbid, but I think actually let's treat this as a celebration rather than a time to feel sad.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you know, when a life of a creative is cut short, it is quite sad. We can't leave that emotion behind. I really want to tribute Senegalese architect and cultural figure, Mmatsheko. I've seen people all over the world. I've spoken to associates in London. I was talking to a friend in Wamashu who is very much inspired as well by the work of Mmatsheko. So she passed away at the tender age of 32, and she co-founded Dakar Lives. So she's an architect by profession. But for some of us that kind of got to notice her a couple of years ago, I think I got introduced to her when she was only 26, and she was just this fashion icon, and I thought she was actually a fashion designer.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was later on that I realized that she is an architect by profession, co-founder of Dakar Lives, and an advocate for African urbanism. So what she was able to achieve through her architecture was really about a different vision for a decolonized city on the African continent. She was big on those themes. She was just vibrant, a creative director. And for her to leave this earth at the tender age of 32 really is a big deal. And I think we should celebrate her life. Let's read up on her. Let's try and kind of be inspired by the work that she did. Not really mimic it or copy it, but be inspired to be that change that we want to see. So may Mmatseko's soul rest in peace. I think what she was able to do in her short life is nothing short of commendable.
Wait, you said 26 years old?
When I first got introduced to her work, she was only 26, but she passed away in the last 72 hours or so at the age of 32.
So young.
So young.
And
so young.
I'm glad that we're shining a light on someone doing incredible work in the architectural spaces.
And feminine,
Because generally what we talk about here is artists, the musicians, but architects who are looking at our continent in a different perspective, not just on property, and not just looking at it from now ancient way of thinking. We are developing our own structures now in Africa because of Mmatsheko. People like her who see beyond what has been done, but see and envision a Wakanda, basically, for Africa.
Totally. Decolonizing the way we think about land and architecture. Really beautiful.
I love that. I love your What Caught Your Eye. Mine is an interesting one. We go to Japan. I wanted to talk, there are many things I could have talked about today. There's some fake news going around. 18 million rand found in a safe. Dudu Mieni's son, Talentes, he was in that house. But it's fake news, that one. There was no proper validation that there was 18 million. Because when I saw that, I was like, what kind of safe houses can hold 18 million rand anyway? But that's fake news. What I want to talk about is a restaurant in Japan. It's called the Restaurant of Mistaken Orders.
Explain.
It is a real concept from Japan that hires waitering staff with dementia. The idea behind the restaurant is to raise awareness about dementia, reduce stigma, and create a supportive and joyful environment. Now, while your order might not be exactly what you ordered, the experience emphasizes acceptance, understanding, and the beauty of unpredictability. Is Africa ready for such a restaurant?
You know, can I just be honest? I don't think we are. I live in South Africa, and I live in a city called Johannesburg. It is one of our country's most fast-paced, if not the most fast-paced, city. There's a lot of pressure. people have short fuses. I mean, just the way people behave also on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, they get really just snappy by the smallest inconvenience, the tiniest. So can you imagine, like, I've had a long day in traffic. Like, I've been sitting in traffic for 2 hours, and then I've got to go to a restaurant and get the wrong order. Aibo.
So we are not ready.
I think we would need a psychological intervention before we could be ready for a restaurant of this nature, in my opinion.
Well, and also considering the fact that mental health conversations are still a stigma on the African continent, we don't want to address them. Now you're going to have a restaurant where people are experiencing such difficulties. Are we ready? Let us know on our TikTok account at Channel Africa 1. It's 3 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest news with Onel Nsinzi.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Looking at your top stories, at least 27 killed during an attack by the paramilitary rapid support forces in Sudan, and at least 12 people killed in fighting between Thailand and Cambodia. Your latest news, greetings to our listeners. Medical workers in Sudan say at least 27 people have been killed and more than 40 injured during an attack by the paramilitary rapid support forces in West Kordofan state. The Sudan Doctors Network says civilians in the town of Brima Rashid were attacked inside their homes, and the victims include women and children. The Sudanese army has also been accused of killing civilians during recent airstrikes in Kordofan. Malawi's former President Joyce Banda today led the way to present presidential nomination papers to the Malawi Electoral Commission ahead of the September 16th general elections. Banda, who owns the People's Party, is one of the 21 presidential candidates to show desire to contest in the presidential race. She has chosen Kumba Kachali of the Freedom Party as her running mate. Kachali served as vice president of Malawi during Banda's reign from 2012 to 2014. This means Banda and Kachali have formed an electoral alliance. Malawi's former president, Joyce Banda.
I stand before the nation this morning to present myself before you and the Malawi Electoral Commission of the People's Party's presidential candidate in the forthcoming September 16th elections. I also have the honor to announce that Right Honorable Kumbo Hastings Kachali, former Vice President of this nation and President of Freedom Party, will be my running mate.
Rwandan President Paul Kagame has replaced his country's Prime Minister, Edward Ngirente, naming the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Justin Nsengiyumva, as a replacement. It is unclear as to why he made the decision. Silvanus Karamera in Rwanda reports.
And Dr. Edward Ngirente, the former minister, has been hailed as one of the performing prime ministers that Rwanda has ever had. This is drawn from the different analysts and from different posts on social media here in Rwanda. He's been hailed for having stood the family for economic growth here in Rwanda. He's been serving his second term. He worked with President Kagame during the previous term, and really it's very early to know what happened with him. And even from the tweet message he wrote yesterday, he thanked the President Kagame, and from the very tweet you could read that is to some point very satisfied. Now we have not really understood why he has replaced him.
Lesotho Parliament is this week expected to discuss claims by the country's security organs that there are illegal training camps on South African farms. In a report published by Ground Up, an online news agency, the heads of the Lesotho Defence Force, the Lesotho Mounted Police Service, and other national security organizations allege that young Basotho are being lured by a militant group called Malata Nana to fight for return of South African territories to Lesotho. The former Minister of Tourism and the leader of the Popular Front for Democracy advocate Lekhuthoo Ragwane explains.
That what baffles everybody. We are surprised. In fact, even this group is not only trained in South Africa, but is going to seize land in South Africa. Then, if there is some element of truth, we are worried why South Africa is so silent on the issue and is not the one acting. Unless then we can say these groups are going to be used as a pretext to take the whole land. Then, if South Africa is part of that, they know about that, and they are not worried. It's our government that is worried, and I think South Africa must be pushed. Unless then there's even a bigger plot, like the Hamas plot that they do these things, and once they do them, then you go and take even the last territory that is remaining. South Africa must explain itself, must come clean out of this.
And lastly, at least 12 people have died in fighting between Thailand and Cambodia in a dramatic escalation of a border dispute that has been simmering for several months. Thailand has deployed fighter jets. Cambodia has fired artillery and rockets. Those known to have died are mostly civilians in Thailand, the BBC's Jonathan Head reports.
The fighting is ostensibly over a long disputed border. However, relations between the two countries deteriorated sharply last month after former Cambodian leader Hun Sen leaked a conversation with Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, embarrassing her and resulting in her suspension by the Constitutional Court. Nationalist sentiment has been whipped up on both sides of the border, and neither government seems willing yet to step back.
Recapping on your top stories, medical workers in Sudan say at least 27 people have been killed and more than 40 injured during an attack by the paramilitary rapid support forces in West Kordofan state. The Sudan Doctors Network says civilians in the town of Brima Rashid were attacked inside their homes, and the victims include women and children. Channel Africa News, I'm Onele Ntsintsi.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It's 7 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. And guess what? It's the final hour of The Upside on Channel Africa, The African Perspective, with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito, coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Happy Thursday. Happy Pooza Thursday. Quench your thirst. The weekend is indeed around the corner. Let us know where you are tuned in from. Anywhere around the world, we'd love to hear from you. +276 406 9126 is the WhatsApp line. Or alternatively, check us out on our social media platforms at Channel Africa 1 on X, Instagram and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Interesting conversation we are about to have. And I asked earlier, are you able to tell the difference between a genuine product or a fake when it comes to luxury wear, luxury bags, sunglasses, watches, sneakers? Are you able to pick up if something is genuine or if it is fake? Or you?
Listen, I have struggles, like I was saying, and also my daughter and I, she's 11, we were having a conversation around Dubai chocolate.
Oh yeah, the fake one that we have in South Africa.
Yeah, and that there's the fake one, and I don't know the difference, and she was telling me the difference, and how her father brought her Dubai chocolate, and this is what it tastes like. So listen, I don't know, but clearly the little ones know. Maybe please give us some tips and tricks of how you identify fake items. I think when we look at things like clothing items, like handbags, shoes are a big one.
Yeah,
shoes are such a big deal.
Yeah.
So any way to identify, we'd love to hear from you. But we do have experts that are going to tell us a bit about that.
From Luxity, they are resellers of luxury goods And because they are resellers of luxury goods, they have to go through the process of verification to make sure that what they're reselling is genuine and not fake. So we're going to ask them to give us some tips on what to look out for to determine whether we're looking at a real thing or it is a fake. And can we stop using this line of made in China as if it's for bad quality? Everything made in China we've associated with bad quality, and it's not the case. It's not the case.
Nope. Things were revealed.
Things were revealed. Damn, some of your favorite brands were revealed. It's 10 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. That conversation is coming up next.
Africa in Song with Tebogo Gege.
So when you think of African music, you think of kwasa kwasa, high life music from West Africa, Afrobeat from West Africa, of gospel music or faith music or spiritual music. But when we think of reggae music, we go to the Caribbean, and if it's Africa, we only think about Lucky Dube. Well, I'm here to introduce you to some reggae music from Africa. Salif Keita with Dakan Faye from Mali, and I must say this one was a real shock for me because I never had imagined Salif Keita on a reggae beat, but listening to him, it just proved to me how versatile he is as an artist, because you'd be expecting him to be on that vibe of West Africa, of ballads, but he really proved that he is very versatile, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Africa in Song with Tebogo Gege. Mmatsheko Mosito and Tebogo Lekhuleni on the upside.
For your mata, I be akka go. For your mata, I go carry go. For your mata, I go scatter city, scatter town. Oh, Ifa, oh, Ifa. I go choose you before everybody. Oh, Ifa, oh, Ifa. I go choose you before everybody. Oh, 8, 2, 3, 4. Call my number +234. What the hell are you waiting for? Fry my brain with your cooking pot, baby. No way to full import. Sexy girl in a blue pin Porsche. Smash that girl, we don't need my funds. Oh my lord, oh. Oh, if I ever become, I go choose you before everybody. Oh, if I, oh, I go choose you before everybody. I be akka, for your mata, I be akka go. For your mata, I go carry go. For your mata, I go scatter city, scatter town. Akka, for your mata, I be akka go. For your mata, I go carry go. For your mata, I go scatter city, scatter town.
Dans mon trône, il me manque une vraie queen. Une vraie. Maintenant que t'es là, rassure-moi bébé. Tu seras toujours la mienne. Tu sais, je suis tout à toi. T'inquiète pas, je suis sous emprise. Nana Kobalo.
I go carry gun. For your mata, I go scatter
It is 14 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African Time. The song is titled Ifa by Oxlade and Fali Ipupa. Beautiful music coming to you on the Upside this afternoon on Channel Africa. The African Perspective with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. We are still coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Let's have a real conversation about real luxury versus fake luxury. Are you able to identify and spot the difference? Because nowadays they look very similar, if not identical. And it's just a matter of quality or that extra little barcode that they're hiding somewhere to verify that that's a genuine item or not. But if you're not able to identify it, what do you need to look out for? Let's have a conversation with someone who knows a thing or two about identifying real versus fake.
Absolutely. It's really getting so sophisticated that we have to rope in an expert at this time to really look at this matter. So joining us is Michael Zaharev, who is co-founder of Luxity, South Africa's leading pre-owned luxury reseller, to help us navigate the world of luxury authentication. Michael, welcome to Channel Africa. Thank you for joining us.
Great to be here with you today and educating your listeners a bit.
Thank you. I like that. Education. That's what this is. Okay. It's a masterclass. I think for anyone that, because, you know, Michael, we do live in that world now, right? Especially, I mean, I go on TikTok and I see everybody wants a piece of luxury. We all want something a little expensive, whether it's a piece of homeware or a handbag or a pair of shoes. It doesn't matter. So talk to us about the space of luxury goods. You know, they're becoming, the fake ones that is, are becoming so sophisticated. What are some of the common red flags that people should be looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, before we jump right into the red flags, I think what's also important to understand is how the fake industry has changed. You know, 10 or 15 years ago, when we were purchasing a fake luxury good, it was very obvious to us as the purchaser that we were purchasing a fake. You know, you would go to a flea market or a Chinatown, or if you're overseas, you go into some back room. It was very dodgy almost, and it was very clear to you, you know, I'm here, I'm buying something fake, but I'm getting it really cheap, right? But these days, it's become so sophisticated. You know, we're shopping on Instagram, we've got all these stories, the marketing's good, and we're buying super fakes, you know? It's become actually more of a scam than it is a counterfeit, because a lot of the time, the person buying it isn't even aware that they're purchasing a fake item.
Yeah.
They think they're buying from a private shopper or a secondhand retailer or someone who has special access, etc. So, you know, it's become a very different kind of atmosphere which we're purchasing these fakes under. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what we need to center these tips around. So of course, in the past, we would use rules of thumb like, is the pricing too good to be true?
Yeah.
You know, that's always a very easy thing to say. So if you're paying, you know, 10 or 20% of what you think or what the new item should be, then that's an immediate red flag. But again, on social media these days, the counterfeiters, the scammers, they know this. So they price the items much closer to retail, normally 50-60% for super fakes. Another red flag is knowing your basic rules, looking at the alignment, looking at the craftsmanship, again, looking at the codes that we've spoken about. You know, a lot of this research you can do online, but again, something becoming more difficult with these super fakes, you know, especially the more expensive ones, where they actually get most of these things closer to the real. In fact, at Luxity, we've started doing microscopic analysis of the materials because the counterfeiters are getting so good that they are indistinguishable to the naked eye. So we need to start using tools where we're, you know, where we're enlarging the materials, etc., to see them more clearly. Now, something that we've really seen that helps people that are looking to purchase these is really looking to trust the seller rather than the item. So making sure who you're buying it from is an authority, or there's some kind of a recourse. So if something goes wrong, can I take my item back? Are they saying no returns, no refunds? Is it a digital presence only, or is there a physical shop? So those kind of checks are really important. And the more of those you can tick off, yes, I can meet the person. Yes, they have a shop. Yes, there's reviews. Yes, they've been around for a long time. Those are the things that can really make you trust in someone rather than just the product.
We are currently in conversation with the co-founder of Luxity, South Africa's leading pre-owned luxury retailer, Michael Zaharif, and he's here to tell us how to identify and spot a real, genuine item versus a fake. They're getting sophisticated these days. Even the most cautious of us get scammed. And I want to find out actually from Michael if he has been scammed through Luxity. But we'll answer that question right after the break. It's 20 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and the whole country affected by gender-based violence. For all your favorite SABC radio stations, call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. The Upside with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito, bringing Africa's voices to the world. On Channel Africa, the African perspective.
It's 21 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Let's get back into our conversation with Michael Zaharif, co-founder of Luxity, South Africa's leading pre-owned luxury retailer. Michael, we were talking and you were giving us the red flags, what we should look out for in comparing a genuine and a fake luxury product or good. Have you yourselves as Luxity, I know you said you've now put in strict measures, but take us through one of the experiences of someone maybe or someone trying to sell you a fake. How did you identify it without these sophisticated tools? And how many times has that happened? Does this happen more often than we think?
Well, Luxity actually started in order to solve this problem because there was no trusted source where you could safely sell or buy luxury goods knowing that they're authentic.
Yeah.
So when you say, has someone tried to sell us fake goods? Well, in fact, 1/3 of the items that are submitted to us that make it through the initial picture authentication that come in are actually counterfeit.
Wow.
So we're seeing counterfeits daily, in the hundreds a month. So this is something that's not a small problem or once off. It's happening daily. People are trying to sell it. And like I say, a lot of the time people don't know. In fact, some of the most common excuses where, when we catch a counterfeit is people say, oh, my husband bought it for me. That's a popular one. Or I received it as a gift. Or very often I bought it in Dubai. These are just, yeah. So, and very often, actually, we even know from just the way people submit, they'll say, oh, my friend bought me this and I'd like to sell it. That's just already a red flag that, do you have a friend that's buying you, handbags which are worth sometimes tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands. So, these are just some of the excuses that people say. I don't know if it was really a friend who bought it for them, but yeah, so these are the kind of internal red flags we've developed.
I really love how you don't even have to see the item. Just the person speaking already tells you a lot about where the item comes from. But let's talk a little bit, Michael, about the actual pre-owned luxury goods market. Talk to us about that. Firstly, is it growing? What are you seeing at Luxity? And just take us a little bit, I mean, you're mentioning a bit, but just elaborate on your verification checks as a reseller. So the in-depth stuff, what do you look for? Because if I'm going to get something pre-owned from an authentic space like Laxity, I would want to know what kind of verification checks went into that.
Yeah, sure. So the pre-owned luxury space is actually the fastest growing industry in the retail industry, and it's been that way for 2 or 3 years running, and that's internationally and both locally. In fact, if we compare it locally, we're growing at about 20% last year, whereas the luxury category as a whole only grew at about 6% in South Africa. So we can really see that strong growth, and it's really across a variety of consumers. Originally, there was the stigma around pre-owned, only people who were like really couldn't get access to certain goods because of financial restrictions, etc., were shopping pre-owned. But now we're seeing many customers coming to pre-owned for a variety of reasons: access to brands not in the country, as well as better sustainable practices, care for the environment. Even many of our customers are high net worth individuals where money is really no object for them, but they're choosing to shop pre-owned because it's more sustainable. And then on to your second question, yes, when it comes to authentication, what's quite important to understand is that it's not just about knowing, a set of rules. Each brand is different, and each model within a brand is different. So, for example, some people might say Louis Vuitton, we know one of the rules for Louis Vuitton is they never cut through the LV in their monogram. You'll know the very well-known monogram for Louis Vuitton, and it has a LV. And some people believe that one of the rules is you'll never cut through the Louis Vuitton, the LV logo. That is a rule, but that rule only applies to certain models of the bag. Some models will not be that case. So it's very intricate about understanding the general rules, the model-specific rules. And then, of course, at Luxity, we stock a variety of categories. So it's not just handbags. We do shoes, we do clothing, accessories, as well as watches and jewelry. When it comes to watches and jewelry, it's an entire different specialization in terms of opening up a watch, having an expert watchmaker that knows the mechanisms that should be in place with jewelry, the qualities, and etc. So there's a lot of different authentication steps that take place depending on the item. And of course, the most important thing is that we have to keep inventing and finding new ways to authenticate, because as the counterfeiters become more sophisticated, so do we need to keep improving our authentication measures and checks to stay one step ahead, as do the brands make more different projects or products in different ways to authenticate and different means. For example, Louis Vuitton recently releasing digital chips in their products, and they no longer have codes on their products. So the industry is always changing and adapting, and so do we have to.
Michael, how can we, as consumers, as buyers, those who want to buy a luxury good, for the very first time, there are certain things that we don't have access to initially if we're buying it online. We don't have access to the touch and the feel of the material. We don't have access to the weight of this product, of this good. Do we then rely on where we are buying it from? Do we just rely on Luxity's word that we've gone through the verification steps and this is a genuine product? Do we just rely on that, or are there steps for us to actually feel this product, touch it and all that stuff before we can actually collect it?
Well, I think what you've brought up there is actually, very true for every consumer. This is a luxury good, and we want to be able to experience it. We don't want to just trust the brand, but we want to be able to experience the good. We want to be able to see it because it's secondhand. The condition can vary, so we want to make sure. And that's why, as Luxity, we've actually gone into retail as well. We're not online only, and that's something that's really helped us grow our business and the trust. So you can visit one of our retail stores in Cape Town, Johannesburg, Pretoria, or Durban, and Sandton City, Waterfront, etc., where you can actually engage with us. And what we're committed to as a brand is really offering you that luxury experience. It's not just giving you access to the product, but the point of being buying something luxury is really getting that experience, really feeling special, really engaging with the stuff, getting that glass of champagne with your purchase. All of this creates that environment that creates something that someone's really aspired to and is really proud of at the end of the day. And that's what we've sought to create.
Right, that's wonderful. It really was an education. I really feel like I've learned something, especially around why we should be, shopping secondhand luxury, for the environment, for sustainability. And also, I would imagine, I'll just use Louis Vuitton as an example. That's the best one I can think of. Sometimes there's like an end of a generation of a certain item, and the only way you can get access to it is if you get it secondhand, because they're never going to make that item in the next generation to come. So there are so many wonderful reasons to really consider getting a luxury item pre-owned, as it were. Michael, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, and all the best with Luxity. Give us the website quickly before we let you go.
It's luxity.co.za. That's luxity.co.za. And thank you very much for having me today.
Wonderful.
The voice there of Michael Zaharif, co-founder of Luxity, and they are authentic resellers of luxury. All right? You trust them and you buy your second-hand luxury good from them. It's 30 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. For the very last time, let's hand over the mic to Musibudi Makura for sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you so much, Tebogo. A very good afternoon once again from the sports desk. Like you said, indeed, for the very last time on the show this afternoon, we'll start our sports bulletin with rugby news. So Babalo Laja will lead the South African Springbok women's side in the first of two international friendly matches against the Black Ferns on Saturday, with both matches to be played at the Athlone Stadium in Cape Town. Now, Laja is one of only 4 starters in the pack that will also wear the same jersey again following their last match 2 weeks ago against Canada in Gqeberha in South Africa's Eastern Cape province, while Springbok women performance coach Swayze de Bruin also made numerous changes to his backline. So Lacha will pack down with Sanelisiwe Charlie as well as Mickey Ganta in the front row again, but a new lock pairing will run out at the Athlone Stadium in the Western Cape province on Saturday. Let's hear from Swayze de Bruin.
The World Cup, looking at combinations, especially the 2 of our locks that we're resting, they've got niggles. So we not want to push anyone now. Our doctor is very professional and want to make sure that we're in line. And if you push the wrong ones now, trying to get them on the field, and it's really just preparation for the World Cup.
Meanwhile, de Bruin also had this to say about their opponents, New Zealand.
Having a look at them, their skill level is exceptional. Speed, fast. We can maybe take them up front. If there's one place we can surprise them is the scrums and the mauls. But they skilled players right throughout, every single one of them.
Of course, we have to mention that South Africa as well as New Zealand are using this competition, or rather these 2 friendly matches, one coming up next week, this coming Saturday, and then next week Saturday as part of their preparations, of course, for the upcoming Women's Rugby World Cup to take place in England next month. On to this now. Despite running a personal best in the women's 400-meter hurdles event at the FISU World University Games on Wednesday, medal hopeful Anna van Niekerk could adjust her approach to finish for gold. So Van Niekerk powered through the semi-finals with a strong 56.16 seconds on the clock and will be in lane 4 ahead of tonight's final. So speaking to SABC Sport ahead of that anticipating podium finish hopefully for Team South Africa, the 22-year-old sounded quite confident ahead of tonight.
It felt really, really good. I really had to focus on little key points to ensure that I can go through to the final. And I actually ran a PB, so I'm super, super happy. And then tomorrow anything can happen, so we'll go for gold. Yes, it definitely motivates you. And once you see they have a medal, you also really want one even more. So definitely motivates us to keep working hard and keep going.
Well, Team South Africa camp has also been through a roller coaster of emotions, with a few athletes getting disqualified while others leaving without medals. Van Niekerk spoke about the motivation from within camp as well as how she plans to tackle the final tonight.
Yeah, so obviously
those that have unfortunately been disqualified are a little bit down, but they, even them, keep us positive, keep us motivated so we can keep going. Hurdle 7 is always a tricky one, so I have to remember that for the final. But then definitely that last 100 meters to just be able to fight even more.
And finally, in tennis news, Stefanos Tsitsipas has parted ways with his former coach Goran Ivanovic after a brief but intense coaching spell. Now, Greece's Tsitsipas began working with Ivanovic in May of this year after winning only 2 matches in his past 4 Grand Slam appearances. However, he won only 1 match during the grass court season and was also 2 sets down against qualifier Valentin Roya in the Wimbledon first round just before retiring injured. The Croatian Ivanovic, a former Wimbledon champion who also worked with Novak Djokovic for about 6 years, was also critical of Tsitsipas's fitness. Tsitsipas has also been as high as number 3 in the world and was also runner-up to Novak Djokovic back in 2021 at the French Open as well as the 2023 Australian Open. He is currently ranked 29th in the world and has also not gone beyond the second round of a major since last year's French Open. Meanwhile, Ivanovic also had a short spell working with former Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina at the start of the year. It's exactly 15:35 p.m. Central African time. That's a wrap of your sports news this afternoon on The Upside. More sporting updates coming up in the next hour. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11714 4459. For Channel Africa Sport, I am Mosibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Whatever you want to hear about today's talk, you can get it on The Upside.
Is it just me or that interview that Musibudi was playing? It was giving this interesting voice note here. Listen to this one. It was viral on TikTok. Listen to it.
Yes, I knew it. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be difficult. But we're gonna run. We're gonna keep on moving. Left, right. Left, right. Hey.
Stop interviewing these people when they just finished their races. Let them breathe. For the last time, let's hand over the mic to Buntle Headbush for business news.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Good afternoon. Our top story at this hour, oil trading house BB Energy has filed a case against South Sudan in London for failing to deliver oil owed under a prepayment deal. South Sudan has endured 2 civil wars in the past 15 years and is grappling with increased debt and a shaky peace deal. BB Energy filed the case against the government in March. Mabuboloka has more.
BB Energy says the action against the South Sudanese government is necessary to preserve the company's rights under a contract with the Ministry of Petroleum. It says it is, however, always looking to find an amicable solution, especially considering its long-term interests in the country. The court action comes after the government placed its petroleum minister and other officials under house arrest in March.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says the threat of U.S. tariffs has highlighted the need to diversify the export base. Ramaphosa emphasized the importance of the U.S. market for vehicle exports. South Africa is set to face 30% tariffs across the board from Friday next week. Ramaphosa gave the keynote address at the BMW Group plant in Roslyn, north of Pretoria.
So as we face this threat of the higher tariffs, we need to open our eyes and our ears and see where else can our vehicles go. Now, it's good that the X3 will be going to Europe, but we need to open up the African market as well.
Greece has invited Libya's government in Tripoli to start talks on demarcating exclusive economic zones in the Mediterranean Sea. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis says the move is aimed at mending relations between the two neighbours, strained by a controversial maritime deal signed in 2019 between the Libyan government and Turkey. Greece's long-standing foe. Mitsotakis says they've invited the Libyan government to discuss the delimitation of a continental shelf and an exclusive economic zone, and says they will continue talking to both the Tripoli-based government and a parallel administration in Benghazi about this. The International Monetary Fund Executive Board says there's a need for decisive and urgent policy action to stabilize the economy of Malawi. The IMF made these comments following its consultation with the southern African country. The IMF says Malawi continues to face significant macroeconomic challenges, including unsustainable fiscal and debt dynamics, and stressed the need for fiscal consolidation focused on domestic revenue generation to reduce inflationary pressures and improve debt sustainability. Chief economist at Don Consultancy Group, Chief Mango, explains how the Malawi government can improve economic conditions in that country.
I think the first thing that should happen in Malawi is more the political will to implement policies. The second thing will be more around merit-based appointment in terms of government position. And the third point will be about borrowing for productive side of the economy, but also in terms of investment in infrastructure such as roads, ICT, railway infrastructure, energy and water infrastructure. The fourth part will be about diversifying the GDP composition of the Malawi economy. It's heavily reliant on agriculture, which is unsustainable.
Moving further afield, India and Britain have signed a major trade deal that they say will lead to a multi-billion-dollar boost in exports for the two countries. The deal agreed in May will see India lower tariffs on British whiskey, gin and other drinks, as well as cars. The BBC's Yogita Lamaya has the details.
We've heard Prime Minister Narendra Modi calling it a historical milestone, saying it's a really ambitious deal, and that this is really, as they're calling it, it's a comprehensive economic and trade agreement with the UK. What the Indian government is very keen to say to people here is that this is a deal that's going to benefit farmers and it's going to benefit medium and small scale manufacturers, in particular textile manufacturers who will be able to have zero duty exports to the UK, footwear manufacturers, gems and jewellery, frozen seafood.
And now if I look at the indicators, $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,528 naira. In Botswana, it's 13 pula 38. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 43. And in Zambia, it's 23 kwacha and 3. Moving to the BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 rial 54. Russia, 78 rubles 44. In India, it's 86 rupees 37. China, 7 yuan 17. And South Africa, $1 is trading at 17 rand 54 cents. $1 is trading at 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,362 and platinum at $1,418 per ounce, while Brent crude oil is at $69.18 a barrel. And those are your business news. For any business news stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I am Buntle Hetbush.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Young couples or young people that are getting married, we often hear of divorces, that they're getting divorced, and it's quite worrying because when we attend these weddings, we want to see these people flourish and celebrate 30-year anniversaries. What do you think is the main challenge that is facing newlyweds?
We say that tell me how you were raised and I'll tell you how you love. So when we see people getting married, that's not where the relationship actually starts. The relationship starts with how you were raised, what you were familiar with, because we are attracted to what we are familiar with. If you don't have a background where love was prominent, where love was authentic, it's going to be very difficult for you to manufacture that in later life. So our upbringing has something to do with it.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege. Fresh and exciting. The Upside, hooking you up with today's news from the African perspective.
Mmassheko. I can. Ngizokubonisa amabhenki senamahaya amaningi my second it was la when I can't. Ngizokubonisa amabhenki senamahaya amaningi ufuna ukwenzani nomthengo lo mthengo egibela phezikompheto ubiza umalume nofelo bayivumise bathi yebo ufuna ukwenzani nomthengo ugibela phezikompheto ubiza umalume nofelo bayivumise bathi yebo ufuna ukwenzani nomthengo ugibela phezikompheto ubiza umalume nofelo bayivumise bathi yebo lapho ufuneka isipham sontoko gijimisiwe ngomphimbo khali nebamba lapho ufuneka isipham sontoko gijimisiwe ngomphimbo khali nebamba my second it was la when I can ngizokubonisa amabhenki senamahaya amaningi my second it was la when I can ngizokubonisa amabhenki senamahaya amaningi when I can ngizokubonisa amabhenki senamahaya amaningi my second it was la when I can ngizokubonisa amabhenki senamahaya amaningi yebo lapho ufuneka isipham sontoko gijimisiwe ngomphimbo khali nebamba yebo lapho ufuneka isipham sontoko gijimisiwe ngomphimbo khali nebamba my second it was la when I can ngizokubonisa amabhenki senamahaya amaningi my second it was la when I can ngizokubonisa amabhenki senamahaya amaningi
The Upside with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito, bringing Africa's voices to the world. On Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Fire. It's your boy, Elvinho, light boy. Gringa, fire. Baby, shake your waist, get it, show me the way. Gringa, fire. C'est pas du tout compliqué, bouge le waist sur mon tempo. Baby, coco loco, I show you my coco loco. Dans ce color, you making me color. Baby, coco loco, I show you my choco. Baby, do it my boy. Now dance ma coco loco. Coco loco. Coco loco. On se fatigue pas, c'est du coco loco. Coco loco. Oh yeah. Coco loco. Coco loco. Na patina hot to coco loco. Coco loco. Coco loco. De l'homme à baby. Coco loco. Dancing, coco loco. USA to London. Coco loco. Waste. Sweetie face, original nyasho. Fine girl, do that thing, do your thing. Fine girl, bayeke, do your thing. Oh yeah, baby coco loco, I show you my coco loco. Dans ce color, you making me color. Baby coco loco, I show you my choco. Baby do it my boy. Now dance my coco loco. Coco loco. Coco loco. Naja baby na dance na coco loco.
Kokoloko, Tanzania, Uganda, Kokoloko. Oh, danse le Kokoloko, Wesh, va sur le côté, le remis terrain. Oh, y'a son polonia chaud, oh, you shake your whistle.
Revinio coming through with Kokoloko, the title of the song. A fellow, Leti, as well as Scott's Mapoma coming through with Yebo La Pokoko. Yes, they Granny.
We told you to stop doing that. That direct translation.
I really should not have done that. That was not a good idea at all. But here we are. I really love that Kokoloko song. That it literally, I felt a shift in my frequency. I felt happier. I felt joyful. You know, my nervous system was like, yeah, this is where the party's at. I guess it's safe to say the weekend is here.
The weekend is indeed upon us, and on Sunday you can watch Chasing the Sun. SABC Sport brings you Chasing the Sun, a powerful 5-part documentary series about the Springboks, telling the rousing tale of their path to redemption and ultimate World Cup glory in 2019. Starting July 13 at 7:30 p.m. Central African Time on SABC2. Tune in every Sunday for the highs, the heartache, and the heroics that made rugby history. Stream each chapter on SABC Plus anytime, anywhere. No subscription needed. Don't miss Chasing the Sun this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Central African Time on SABC2. Be there when history shines.
Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Nkhanza zokhudza amuna ndi azimayi kapena kuti gender based violence GBV zikuononga mioyo komanso kuphwasula mizi. Zikuchitika m'manyumba, m'masukulu, malo ogwirira ntchito ndipo kwambiri mwakachetechete. Koma sizikuyenera kupitirira. Mukazimva yankhulani. Ngati mwakhuzidwa funani chithandizo. Chifukwa kusachita chilichonse sikuthandiza. Mverani kuma wireless onse 14 a SABC kuchokera lachitatu pa 23 mwezi uno wa Julai kuti mumve zokambirana, malangizo, masewero, zionesero za maphunziro ndi mafunso okhuza nkhanza za amuna ndi azimayi ndi akatswiri, anthu opulumuka ku nkhanzazi, kukhazikitsa lamulo komanso dziko lonse lokhuzidwa ndi nkhanzazi. Zonsezi pa wireless yomwe mumayikonda ya SABC. Imbirani pa nambala 0800 428 428 kuti munene za nkhanzazi kapena kupeza chithandizo. Nkhanza zokhuza amuna ndi azimayi zimatha ndi inu. Kutenga ukufikani kuchokera ku SABC.
If it's news and current affairs, leading opinions, and thought leaders that get your groove, this is your home, The Upside.
And this one yami Kale sakis king Buga wate You don't believe Jesus Taga komunye Uwe na wet Ti exact ne bat Slim mangambela How could he let you go and put in the bell? How could he let you go back that way in the bell? Mehlweni navele ngabona uthando inhliziyo yami ikhetha wena
amehlo amajonge wena twala twala. Baby, you the one for me, twala twala. Baby, you the one for me, twala twala. Baby, you the one for me, twala twala. Believe me when I say yeah. Ngempela, 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 ngempela. I want somebody, not like anybody. When I wear to stand beside me. When you want somebody, not like anybody. When I wear to find in the moon. I want somebody, not like anybody. When I wear to stand beside me. You want somebody, not like anybody. I'll find in the moon. When I'm on my boo, I won't play you. Ninkomo yako, my no. I love you, I really do. My buju, Ngempela, 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 Ngempela.
Ngempela, Java and DJ Maphorisa featuring Howard. Java's real name, do you know his real name?
What is his real name actually?
Ujabulani Hadebe.
Okay.
Jabulani Hadebe, that's his real name. And the reason I brought this up is because they are African artists who have different names from what we know them to be, right? I'll give you an example of Burna Boy. Burna Boy's real name is Damini Ebunoluwa Ogulu. Akon, you know Akon, lonely, I'm so lonely. His real name, one of the longest things I've seen in a long time. Aliwane Damala Buga Time Puru Naka Lulu Badara Akontiam.
I didn't think anyone would top Seal's name.
What's Seal's name?
Seal, that one is longer
check.
than Seal's name. Oh my goodness. Seal is British, but he's of Nigerian descent, right? Much like Sade, but her name is easy. It's just Folase. Ellen Folasade, very easy. Anyone can say that. But Seal.
I just searched for Seal. His full name is Seal Henry Olusegun Olumide Adiola Samuel. Ah! Let's say good afternoon and welcome to the man with the golden voice on Channel Africa, Thabiso Lekhuleni, who will be standing in for Tami Ngubeni, Africa in Business. Thabiso, how are you doing this afternoon, sir?
I am doing well. Good afternoon to you and Mmatsheko.
Afternoon.
What's coming up on the show this afternoon?
What's coming up on the business show this afternoon? The South African Treasury introduces new budget mechanisms. Now, the aim here is to identify and cut performing, low-performing, underperforming, low government programs as well. Now, obviously, these austerities could usher in increased service delivery.
Which is good. Get rid of the bottlenecks. That's the ideal process, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Identify the problem and come with a solution.
Love that.
Ghana plans a shortening mining license durations.
Yeah.
The mandate here is to ensure that there's direct revenue sharing with communities.
Oh, can we have more of that throughout the continent, actually? Can the continent and the communities benefit from its raw materials and the processing thereof? Love that.
I see something.
Do you see something?
Yes, I see.
It's going to happen.
All right. And it's Thursday, our G20 special. We'll be crossing to a sister station, SAFM, and we'll be looking at a very important layer of the G20 strewn with layers.
Yeah.
The youth.
Oh,
right.
The youth.
A very young continent we are.
Important.
And we need to be listening in on this conversation. Africa in Business with Thabiso Lekhuleni. Thabiso, is that your real name? Because as we were reading people's real name here, is this Thabiso Lekhuleni your stage name or is this your actual real name?
It's my real name.
The real Thabiso Lekhuleni coming to you with Africa in Business just after 4. Listen, it's always just so wonderful to spend the afternoon with you. You've become a good friend of ours, And we will catch you again for the Friday edition of The
Absolutely.
Upside with Tebogo and Mmatsheko. Make sure that you tune in from 1 p.m. We'll be in each other's company. Have a glorious rest of the Thursday. What are you up to this evening?
Oh,
That you can share with us, that's safe to share.
I'm taking it easy today. We've got a long weekend ahead of us, and I know you are going out, which is very rare. Like I'm very
It's-
shocked, and I'm proud of you.
It's actually very rare. You know, it's a rarity. But here we are, good friends. See you again for the Friday edition. 4 p.m. news bulletin coming through with Oned and Zinzi. Have a wonderful evening and spend it here on Channel Africa.
Obrigado.
Good afternoon and welcome to Africa in Business on Channel Africa, the African perspective, where we meet to look at the latest in business news and sport. I am Tabiso Lohoko, standing in for Tamin Gubeni. We are broadcasting live from Auckland Park in Johannesburg, South Africa. We are on the DSTV OWBK channel 802, on OpenView on channel 628, and you can live stream us on www.channelafrica.co.za, as well as on the SABC Plus app available on the Google and Apple Play stores. Join in the conversation by finding us on X at Channel Africa numerical 1, Facebook at Channel Africa, Instagram at Channel Africa 1. You can also subscribe on YouTube at Channel Africa 1. You can send us your stories to newsroom at channelafrica.co.za,